I don't care if a woman is walking down the street butt naked. It doesn't give you a pass to touch her. Hi guys, I know I said I was going to make a Q&A video, and I am going to answer all of the questions and put a video together soon. But before I made any more content for this channel, I just wanted to touch on something that I feel quite strongly about. I want to talk about some of the things I've been reading on Twitter over the past couple of days. I'm not going to talk on personal experiences because I'm just not strong enough to do that. I just want to address some of the things that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with, or things that don't really sit right with me. I want to make it very clear that I'm talking on experiences that I can relate to, that I can understand, and that I've seen on social media. I'm not for 1 second trying to discredit anyone's personal experience. I'm not trying to take away from anyone who has experienced sexual assault or sexual abuse. I want to talk about the response that quite a few people have been brave enough to post their stories have received. I've seen so many people ask for evidence or question the truth of someone who's telling their story. If someone has built the courage to come to social media in order to try and get justice, or to just make people aware of what someone else is like, I don't think it's anyone's place to ask that person for any more information than what they are comfortable sharing. I have seen the person who's being accused give their version of events, and then it turned into this timeline debate or this back and forth conversation about what happened and if it classifies as sexual assault. And I just think for someone to be brave enough to tell their story, watch their story be turned into some kind of strange debate for the public, is very heartbreaking. Reading some of the replies to the things that I've seen have made me realize that there is a big percentage of people, and from what I have seen, specifically men, who don't understand boundaries and who don't understand that there is so many things that fall under sexual assault. And I just want to make a few of those things clear for people who maybe struggle with that. For example, sleeping with a teenage girl, sleeping with a teenager full stop, is paedophilia. The only reason an adult would be talking to a minor is because it is easy for them to manipulate that person into having sex with them. That is all they want. It's sex. It's not love, it's not emotion, and it's not care. And it's sad because there's so many young people who fall for this act. I think it is so key to educate young people as they are growing up to know that no grown adult wants you for you. You shouldn't want to be in a relationship with a grown adult because it is wrong. It's also come to my attention that a lot of people don't seem to think it's a problem to sleep with someone who is drunk. If you as a person can happily take someone home and have sex with them, or meet someone and have sex with them who is very visibly drunk and not in a sober mindset to make a calculated decision to sleep with you, then there is something wrong with you. It's rape. If someone cannot consciously give you their consent, you should not feel entitled to touch them. It doesn't matter how long you've known that person or who that person is to you. Barring being in a relationship with someone, there is no situation that you should feel comfortable enough to sleep with someone who is inebriated. If anything, you should want to protect that person from those things happening, not be the person who is taking advantage of them. I've seen people with my own eyes think it's funny or a joke to touch someone inappropriately without their permission. There is nothing funny about that. Do you know how damaging it is to a person when someone puts their hands on them without them saying it's okay? To feel as if you have no control over what is happening with your body is one of the most horrible feelings ever. And for someone to think that it's okay to do that because it humours them, or because there was no malicious intent, or because they're not a bad person in their own eyes, I am telling you, if you are comfortable with doing that to someone, you are a bad person and you need to reevaluate yourself. It is sexual assault. The fact that these lines seem to be so blurred, and there is quite a lot of people who don't understand what lines not to cross, I think it's so important to teach young people consent. Not only to teach people that they need consent to touch someone, they need consent to be intimate with someone, but also to teach people that you need to give your consent. And to me, that means verbal consent. If you are lying there and you seem scared, or if you seem uncomfortable in any way, or if you have not said, yes, you can touch me, you haven't given your consent. So don't ever let anybody feel like you weren't clear enough in what you wanted, or you weren't clear enough in if you were comfortable with someone touching you. If you did not say yes, you did not give your consent. I've also seen quite a few famous people being accused of sexual assault or sexual harassment, and fans instantly jump into their defense as if they know that person. I feel like if someone is strong enough to share their story on something that's happened to them, you should never ever discredit or shame that person based on the fact that you think that person would never do that. It's not okay. It gives people with a platform or with any form of status this ego that they can never be touched and nothing can ever happen to them if they do something wrong because they have money or because they're powerful. And that's not okay. That needs to change. Nobody is entitled to touch anybody without their permission. Nobody is entitled to invade anybody's intimacy. So much needs to change, but especially the fact that nobody seems to have a clear understanding of what other people might find uncomfortable or what might make other people feel unsafe. So I think it's so important to talk to the people around you, all different kinds of people, and find out what makes them uncomfortable and what makes them feel unsafe. Because for you to not have even a general understanding of what might make someone feel uneasy in your presence is worrying. Things that you might think are a joke might scar someone for life. If someone has been a victim of sexual assault, sexual harassment, or rape, it doesn't just go away. They don't see it as just a joke or it being lighthearted. It is something that stays with them forever. It doesn't go away. And that feeling of being used and being violated stays there forever. And it affects what you do in your life throughout. The last thing I want to say is something that I feel is very, very important, but also very overlooked. A lot of men seem to have this mentality that how a woman carries herself, how many men she slept with, or what she wears is an excuse for how she is treated. What a woman chooses to do with herself is nothing to do with how you should respect her. I've heard so many men say, why should a woman who doesn't respect herself be respected by others? If in your eyes a woman does not respect herself, it has nothing to do with how you treat her, nor does it excuse how other men treat her or make it okay for her to be a victim of sexual harassment or sexual assault. I don't care if a woman is walking down the street butt naked. It doesn't give you a pass to touch her. I don't care if a woman has slept with 50 men a day for her whole life. It doesn't give you a reason to sexually abuse her or sexually harass her. The importance of respecting other people's boundaries and not overstepping a mark and making them feel unsafe is so important. And I feel like it's something a lot of people don't consider when interacting with someone sexually. But everybody needs to do what they can to make other people feel safe. And I just want to stress that because it is so important for you to know when you are overstepping a mark and when you are potentially scarring somebody's mental health for life, when you are potentially changing the way somebody views sex forever, the way somebody views intimacy. You can make somebody fear intimacy and fear being in a sexual relationship with someone based off of something that you thought was a joke or something that you didn't do with any malicious intent. It doesn't matter what your intentions were behind the actions. What matters is how you made that person feel and if you overstep that mark. It's so sad to me because I feel like this is just basic knowledge. Making other people feel safe in your presence should be something that you want to do. It shouldn't be something that you're confused on or something that you don't completely understand. You can't just expect someone to give you sex because it's what you want. You can't just expect someone to pleasure you because it's what you want. That's not okay. And I feel like there's so many things, small tiny things that you wouldn't even think make a difference that need to change. If everybody just makes a conscious effort to do better and to make others feel safe, then we can start to make a change. I am so glad that it's become a topic of conversation and people are brave enough to give their stories in order to open other people's eyes and make other people see that sexual assault and sexual harassment are very common and they are very serious. Eventually, what people may have thought was funny or not harmful in any way will become something that they know is overstepping a boundary. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to have those boundaries in place and be aware of them.